every year in the NFL, there's a few teams that kind of outperform their expectations and do better than some people expected them. Now, some of these teams can go from being a bottom dwelling team and becoming a very good team all of a sudden. Some of these teams, go from being an average team to actually finally a nice team. But other of these teams, they're kind of already good teams, but everyone's sleeping on them. And today, I'm going to give you guys 3 teams to watch out for that could potentially be very good this upcoming season. Now, I do have 2 honorable mentions, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the reason they're my honorable mention is because I feel like everyone's expecting the Buccaneers to be a very good Super Bowl contending team, and honestly, I agree with that. I think the Buccaneers are going to be a very good team this season with Tom Brady and all those weapons that they have, and their defense is also going to be good. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on how good their defense is. They have young corners, they have a good run-stopping defense, they have nice linebackers, so the Buccaneers, they are legitimately a Super Bowl contender. Like, I am very, very high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but honestly, I feel like most people are as well. Now, another honorable mention I have is the Miami Dolphins. I absolutely love Brian Flores as a coach. I love what he is building over there. Last year, everyone was expecting the Dolphins to go 0-16, but they won 4 games. And I know 4 games isn't much, but when you're expecting a team to win 0 games and they win 4, that's kind of impressive if you ask me. Now, the reason why the Dolphins don't make my list is because I still think they're about a year away from actually taking control of the AFC East, because I do not trust Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. I don't know what he's going to be yet. And I feel like Belichick's going to retire pretty soon, honestly. So, yeah, it's going to be Miami's division for years to come, even though I don't like Tua that much. But that's only because I don't like left-handed quarterbacks, because I play Madden, and left-handed quarterbacks on Madden is kind of weird for me. But, yeah, anyways, let's get on to these 3 teams not to sleep on. And I feel like not many people are really, like, sleeping on them, but people don't really understand just how good these teams can be. Well, at least 2 of them. The other team, like, not many people are high on them, and honestly, it's kind of understandable why. And the team I'm talking about is the Cleveland Browns. Same old Browns, huh? Same old Browns every single year. The Browns are supposed to be this good team, but nobody ever believes it. Same old Browns. But I feel like last year in after the 2018 season, everyone was like, oh my god, watch out for the Browns, watch out for the Browns. Like, they went to go get Odell Beckham, they made all these moves, and everyone was like, oh my god, this Brown team is going to be so good. But they ended up falling flat on their face and sucking. Why? Well, I was never high on the Browns last year. I never was, because I didn't think Freddie Kitchens was a coach really worth much. I didn't think he was good. So I was like, coaching matters in this league, and with that terrible coach, the Browns aren't going to do anything. And season started, the Browns got smacked around by the Titans week 1, and they never really recovered. I guess they got into their own heads, and, they thought they were going to be this awesome team, and they just fell flat. But this year, I think it's going to be different. They got a new coach who, he's a young guy, 37 years old. Kevin Stefanski comes from the Vikings, and this guy made Kirk Cousins look good. So I do think he can do something with Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield had an amazing rookie year. I think people forget that because of his cocky persona. I hated it too. I hate it, even though I'm kind of a cocky person myself. But, I hated it because people were saying Baker Mayfield was better than Deshaun Watson, even though that was clearly not the case. But anyways, we're past that. I think Baker Mayfield bounces back. I think he bounces back. He has all these weapons: Austin Hooper, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, underrated running back. He has a decent defense, Myles Garrett back there hitting people with his helmet. He's got Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, the newly drafted Grant Delpit. He was arguably the best safety out of last year's draft class. So, their defense isn't amazing, but it's a very good defense, top 16 defense at least in the NFL, and that offense can be very, very deadly. And honestly, this year, I think the Browns come into the season humble. I think Baker Mayfield was humbled. He's going to come into the season hungry, and he's going to perform, and I think the Browns make the playoffs. I think they do. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl contenders, but they're a 9-10 win team, playoff team. I think that's where the Browns are right now. I actually believe in Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield will bounce back this year. I don't think he's as bad a quarterback as he was last year. I think what he did last year has a lot to do with who his coach was. Kitchens is not good, man. And I think with a decent coach, I think Mayfield can do some damage. Now, for the next team, I feel like everyone is kind of high on this team, and I'm going to double down on it. The Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to be a very good team next season. I absolutely love the Broncos, man. Like, I love them. Now, look, Drew Lock. I don't think Drew Lock is anything special. He's not bad. He's like middle of the pack when it comes to quarterbacks. Like, he's just average. He is average AF. I don't think that matters. I think he can remain average and the Broncos can win a lot of games. Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler in the slot, Jerry Jeudy outside opposite Sutton, Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay, Noah Fant. That offense is stacked. It is stacked, like I said. Drew Lock doesn't have to be anything special for this Broncos team to be a good team. He doesn't. And that defense, I love their defense. Now, it does have a few holes, but still. They got Jurrell Casey for a 7th round pick. Even though he's older, he is still a monster in the middle. They have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb coming from the edge, with Jurrell Casey being a monster in the middle of that defense. They got A.J. Boye back there, a good corner. And not to mention, arguably the best safety duo in the NFL. Well, at least top 2. You could argue Minnesota, but Kareem Jackson is extremely underrated at the safety position. The dude is probably the best tackling safety in the NFL, and he can cover as well. Justin Simmons, underrated player as well. Very, very good safety. So their defense is very, very good, and it's led by Vic Fangio. Remember that nasty Bears defense from 2018 that carried the terrible Mitchell Trubisky to the playoffs? Yeah, that's the Broncos head coach. And you best believe that Broncos defense is about to be nasty as well. So do not sleep on the Broncos. They're going to be a very good team next season. 10-win team, playoff team as well. Obviously, they play in the same division as the Chiefs, so I'm not expecting them to win the division, but they'll be in the playoffs, and they won't be an easy out. I think with all the weapons and a good defense led by a very good defensive mind in Vic Fangio, it's going to be a hard out in the playoffs. And now for the last team not to sleep on. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Now look, I think Big Ben is done. I think the dude should have retired 2 years ago. But it would be extremely ignorant, for anyone to believe that Big Ben's going to be worse than Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges. Despite Big Ben being washed and looking like he's done, he is still way better than Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So with him being there, the Steelers are a good team. I mean, their offense is decent. They have a good offensive line. James Conner can maybe do something. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson can probably become something as well. But where I absolutely love the Steelers team is that defense. That defense is downright nasty. I think this Steelers defense is the only defense in the NFL that can contain Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. I really do think so. Now, obviously, it's going to be up to Big Ben to put up enough points, but if you guys recall, last season, early on, the Steelers took the Ravens to overtime. I don't remember who the quarterback was. Was it Doug Hodges or Mason Rudolph? I forgot who it was, but the Ravens needed overtime to beat the Steelers. That's how good this Steelers defense is. Add in Big Ben, yeah, watch out Lamar Jackson, because don't be shocked if the Steelers come from underneath and just take the division from the Ravens, because that Steelers defense is good enough to do that. I mean, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, Devin Bush, Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson, who's a corner who's really slept on, Mike Hilton, a very good nickel corner, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. I feel like the Steelers defense can carry this team to an 11-win, 12-win season. I think Big Ben can do just enough not to get in the way of the Steelers defense. So do not sleep on the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that defense is downright terrifying. They can stop anyone. Like I said, don't be shocked if the Steelers come from underneath the Ravens and just take the division from them. Because this defense, I believe it's good enough to stop Lamar Jackson and beat the Ravens. I really 100% believe that. This defense is downright nasty. But like I said, it's up to Big Ben not to get in the way of this defense and just do enough not to lose. Or, also stay healthy, because he has had an injury history in the past. So stay healthy, let your defense get the job done. And, honestly, it's pretty cool to see the Steelers have a dominating, scary defense again, like in the earlier years. It's been a while since the Steelers have really had a defense this good, and I find it awesome. Like Steelers and Ravens, when you think about those teams, at least personally, like I always think of defense. Like growing up watching the Steelers or Ravens play, like you would always think about their scary, dominating defense, and it's cool to see the Steelers getting back to that. But anyways, yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Comment down below some teams that you guys think are sleeper teams that people shouldn't sleep on, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.